Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look what is happening in India and in the world. Seasonal torrential rains have claimed 134 lives and injured 81 others in Pakistan in the last over 2 months since the monsoon began in the country, the National Disaster Management Agency said on Sunday. Monsoon rains are lashing Pakistan at a time when authorities are trying to contain the spread of the virus, which caused 6,288 deaths since February, when the country reported its first case. 9 more people, 5 in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province and 4 in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, died overnight, pushing the nationwide monsoon-related death toll to 134, the National Disaster Management Authority said. Of those killed, 61 are males, 14 females and 59 children, it said, adding that 81 people, including 10 in the last 24 hours, were also injured in various rain-related incidents across the country. A total of 48 people died in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa district, followed by 34 in Sindh, 17 in Balochistan, 14 in Punjab, 11 in Gilgit-Baltistan region and 10 in POK. Floods and landslides triggered by heavy rains damaged 1,000 houses fully and 435 others partially, the NDMA said. Rescue efforts ended at a 2-story restaurant in a northern China village that collapsed during the 80th birthday celebration for a resident, leaving 29 dead, authorities said on Sunday. The Ministry of Emergency Management said another 28 people were injured, 7 of them seriously, when the building suddenly crumbled on Saturday. A total of 57 people were brought out alive, the ministry said. There was no immediate word on what caused the collapse. The official China daily newspaper said the building collapsed at 9:40 a.m. on Saturday. It said the Cabinet's Work Safety Commission would oversee the investigation into the accident's cause. While China has been major improvements in industrial safety, building standards are sometimes ignored, particularly in rural areas such as Shaanxi Province's Jiangfan County, about 630 kilometers southwest of Beijing, where the restaurant was located. The region lies in the heart of China's coal country, where thousands of miners have died in explosions, collapses and floods over past years. Open source satellite imagery suggests China is developing 2 new air defense positions that cover sensitive stretches of the disputed border in the Doklam and Sikkim sectors, including an area where Indian and Chinese troops had clashed in May. The satellite imagery shared by the open source intelligent analyst who used the name Defresfa on Twitter show what appears to be 2 sites at which the PLA is developing surface-to-air missile facilities. Both these sites are near what have been described as suspected early warning radar sites opposite Sikkim state. Experts said the location of missile air defense facilities close to radar installations would help the Chinese side to pick up possible targets with greater accuracy. In a graphic posted on Twitter, Detresfa said the new missile facilities were apparently part of China's ongoing upgrades and expansion of air defense assets along its border with India. The new missile facilities are located roughly 50 kilometers away from Dokala, close to the Doklam Plateau that was the scene of the 73-day military standoff between India and China in 2017, and Nakula, where troops from the 2 countries had clashed on May 9. The Indian side has been noted running regular intelligence and reconnaissance missions in this sector during the current standoff with various platforms such as the Boeing P-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft that trespassed at sea. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga will join the race to succeed outgoing Prime Minister Shinzo Abe as leader of the Liberal Democratic Party, who would in turn become the next country's premier, a source familiar with the matter told on Sunday. Suga, the chief spokesperson for the government, informed LDP Secretary General Toshihiro Nikai about his desire to contest the party's leadership election, a day after Abe announced he would step down as the Prime Minister due to health concerns, the source said. Some senior members of the LDP had lauded Suga for his crisis management abilities, the source added. According to senior party lawmakers, the decision is slated to be held on or around September 15. LDP policy chief and former foreign minister Fumio Kishida and former defense minister Shigeru Ishiba have also indicated their intention to participate in the election. The Prime Minister has directed Nikai to make decisions regarding the party leadership race. Suga, who has been serving as the government top spokesperson since Abe resumed power in 2012, in one of the Prime Minister's closest aides and was considered a potential contender. Abe, the longest serving Japanese Prime Minister, is stepping down due to ulcerative colitis, a chronic disease which earlier forced him to resign from the post of the Prime Ministership in 2007. The 65-year-old leader said on Friday that he will continue to carry out his duties until the LDP elects its new leader, who will subsequently become the new Prime Minister. A majority of US states have rejected new Trump administration's COVID-19 testing guidance in an extraordinary rebuke of the nation's top agency for disease prevention, according to officials at state health agencies and public statements reviewed by Reuters. At least 33 states continue to recommend testing people who have been exposed to COVID-19 and have no symptoms, spurning guidance published by the US Centers for Disease Control and Prevention this week that said testing may be unnecessary. 16 states did not immediately respond to requests for comment, and North Dakota said it had not made a decision. Among the states breaking with the federal government are conservative-leaning Texas, Oklahoma, and Arizona. Public health experts said a rupture of this magnitude with the CDC may be unprecedented and shows deepening distrust of the Trump administration and its response to the pandemic. The states almost all out rebelling against the new guidelines, said Michelle Mina, assistant professor of epidemiology at the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health. The CDC said on Monday that people exposed to COVID-19 but not symptomatic do not necessarily need a test unless you are a vulnerable individual or your healthcare provider or state or local public health officials recommend to take one. Reacting sharply to Pakistan hailing the recent Gupkar declaration in which 6 political parties of Jammu and Kashmir vowed to fight collectively against the abrogation of Article 370. National Conference President Farooq Abdullah on Sunday asserted that we are not anyone's puppets. Pakistan has always abused mainstream political parties of Jammu and Kashmir, but now suddenly they like us, the former chief minister said when asked about Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi's statement that the declaration issued by the NC, PDP, Congress and 3 other parties was not an ordinary occurrence but an important development. Let me make it clear that we are not anyone's puppets, neither New Delhi's nor of anyone across the border. We are answerable to the people of Jammu and Kashmir and will work for them, he told from Srinagar. In response to a question on cross-border terrorism, Abdullah said, I would urge Pakistan to stop sending armed men into Kashmir. We want an end to the bloodshed in our state. All political parties in Jammu and Kashmir are committed to fight for our rights peacefully, including for what was unconstitutionally snatched away from us on August 5 last year. Three Lashkar-e-Taiba militants and an assistant sub-inspector of Jammu and Kashmir police were killed in a gunfight on the outskirts of the city on Sunday, police said. Militants fired on a joint naka of police and the CRPF at Pantha Chowk area late on Saturday night, a police official said. He said the joint parties of the forces cordoned off the area and launched a search operation. During the searches in the area, the militants again fired on the search party of the forces, who retaliated, leading to an encounter, the official said. A tight cordon was maintained throughout the night and the firing resumed this morning. He said 3 militants were killed in the gunfight. An assistant sub-inspector of Jammu and Kashmir Police, Babu Ram, was also killed in the operation, the official added. Speaking to reporters on the sidelines of the wreath-laying ceremony of the slain ASI, Director General of Jammu and Kashmir Police, Dilbag Singh said the 3 militants came on a bike and fired at the joint party of the security forces. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
दुनिया की नजर आज हम पर टिकी है, जिसमें सिर्फ एक सवाल है, हमारा अगला कदम क्या है? तो जवाब ये है कि हम तैयार हैं पूरी तरह। पूरी दुनिया का दिल जीतने के लिए। अहमियत इस बात की नहीं कि आप किन बुलंदियों पर हैं, बल्कि इस बात की है कि यहां पहुंचने का हौसला किससे मिला। देश की मिट्टी से। कचारिया देश की मिट्टी से बनी टाइल से देश को बनाते हैं।
Live the Ken lifestyle with Ken Star.
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Sunday said India has talent and ability to become a toy hub for the entire world, and called upon startups to work towards realizing this potential while being vocal about local toys. He said the global toy industry is over rupees 7 lakh crore, but India's share is very small. He asserted on the need to work to increase it. In his monthly Mann Ki Baat broadcast, the Prime Minister also said people have shown an unprecedented restraint and simplicity in their festivals during the COVID-19 pandemic. He also hailed farmers for increase in sowing area for different grains. This is a time for festivals, but at the same time, there is also a sense of discipline among people due to the COVID-19 situation. There is a close link between nature and our festivals, Modi said. He also asked young entrepreneurs to develop computer games in and also about India. In his address, Modi also noted that India will complete its 75 years of independence in 2022 and suggested a host of measures to teachers to help bring to light contributions of thousands and lakhs of unsung heroes of the freedom struggle. It is important that our youngsters are aware of them, Mr. Modi said. The use of masks and smart cards has been made mandatory as the Delhi Metro resumes services next month after a 5-month gap. The new guidelines issued by the Delhi government today listed severe restrictions that included a ban on tokens for the train ride and limiting the numbers of passengers in each coach. The authorities, however, have not named a figure for this yet. The air conditioning system will also be renovated to ensure circulation of fresh air inside coaches, said Delhi Transport Minister Kailash Gehlot. The minister also said the trains will not stop at all metro stations and there are plans to open stations in phases. All the safety rules will be strictly observed at all stations, including social distancing and thermal checking. Hand sanitizer will also be provided. The token system will be completely shut. Moreover, it won't be possible to sanitize a token every time. People will use smart cards or other recharge mediums to travel, Mr. Gehlot said. All stations will not be opened. Those in containment zones will remain shut. Over than those, there are more stations which will remain shut. The list for the same will be prepared and people will be informed about it, he added. Last week, Mr. Kejriwal had requested the centre to allow metro services to begin in the national capital as a special case. A new bridge built on the Wainganga River in Seoni district, some 350 kilometers from Bhopal, collapsed today, August 30, 2020, its official date of completion. Though its build was finished a month ahead of schedule, the 150-meter bridge had not even been inaugurated. However, villagers had started using the structure. Before and after videos show that a large section of the bridge has collapsed and pillars can be seen jutting out the swollen river. According to official documents, the bridge was built at a cost of rupees 3.7 crore under the Prime Minister's Rural Road Network scheme. Its construction started on September 1, 2018 and was scheduled to be completed before August 30, 2020. District Collector Rahul Haridas has ordered a probe to determine culpability, saying due action would be taken against those found guilty. Continuous rainfall has resulted in widespread destruction across Madhya Pradesh, especially in the Narmada river belt, when a flood-like situation has emerged. Following heavy rains, the Narmada river is flowing about 10 meters above its danger mark of 964 meters in Hoshangabad district, 75 kilometers south of Bhopal. Shortly after Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke Sunday afternoon about making toys for the world, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi took a sarcastic swipe at the Prime Minister and his calls for India to emerge as a toy hub. Lakhs of college students protesting the conduct of JEE and NEET exams during the COVID crisis would have preferred a discussion on exams over a discussion on toys, Mr. Gandhi said in a direct attack on the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, during his monthly radio address Mann Ki Baat, declared toys were very important for the development of the children and that India should become a global leader in its manufacturing. Mr. Gandhi's latest dig, he has been relentless in his criticism of the government over various issues, comes amid pressure from students and opposition parties over the decision to hold the joint entrance exams JEE and the national eligibility cum entrance test NEET in September. On Friday, the Congress MP said in a video posted on Twitter that the safety of NEET and JEE aspirants could not be compromised by the failure of the government to control the COVID-19 outbreak. Describing the students as the future, Mr. Gandhi demanded to know why further pain should be imposed and urged the government against forcing the student community to sit for the exams. Interim Congress Chief Sonia Gandhi has also taken aim at the government on this issue, although without naming the Prime Minister. In a video message released on Friday, Mrs. Gandhi asked the centre to listen to the students' concern on this issue. Billionaire Mukesh Ambani-led Reliance Industries on Saturday announced the acquisition of the retail, wholesale, logistics and warehousing businesses of the Future Group for 24,713 crore through its subsidiary Reliance Retail Ventures. The deal is part of the scheme in which Future Group is merging certain group companies into future enterprises and subject to regulatory and shareholder approvals. Reliance Industries said in a regulatory filing the transaction had reportedly been in the works for months. Reliance Industries said the acquisition of Future Group's retail, wholesale and supply chain businesses makes a strong strategic fit into its retail business, while the logistics and warehousing units of Future Group will be transferred to Reliance Retail Ventures. The retail and wholesale businesses will be part of its wholly owned arm, Reliance Retail and Fashion Lifestyle. With this transaction, we are pleased to provide a home to the renowned formats and brands of Future Group as well as preserve its business ecosystem, which have played an important role in the evolution of modern retail in India, said Isha Ambani, Director, Reliance Retail Ventures. Billionaire Kishore Biyani-owned Future Group is home to supermarket chain Big Bazaar, upmarket food stores, food hall, and bargain clothing chain Brand Factory. It has raised more than 2 lakh crore this year through sale of stakes in its telecom arm Reliance Jio to investors including Google and Facebook, as well as a rights issue worth over 53,000 crore. The Union Home Ministry on Saturday issued the Unlock 4 guidelines, under which metro trains will be allowed to resume services from September 7 in a graded manner, while social and religious congregation of up to 100 people will be permitted from September 21. The metro trains have been allowed to resume services from September 7. Bars which have been shut since March, will be allowed to open from September 1. Social, academic, sports, entertainment, cultural, religious and political functions and other congregations will be permitted with a ceiling of 100 people with effect from September 21. Students of classes 9 to 12 may be permitted to visit their schools in areas outside the containment zones only on a voluntary basis for taking guidance from their teachers. Open air theatres will be permitted to open with effect from September 21, apart from some relaxations for students of class 9 to 12. Schools, colleges and other educational coaching institutions will remain closed till September 30. Cinema halls, swimming pools, entertainment parks, theatres and similar places will remain shut. International air travel of passengers, except as permitted by the Home Ministry, will not be allowed. Ahead of the rollout of one-time debt recast for resolution of COVID-19 related stress in bank loans, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman will hold a review meeting with bankers and NBFCs on September 3 for smooth and speedy implementation of the scheme. The review will focus on enabling businesses and households to avail the revival framework on the basis of viability. Necessary steps like finalizing bank policies and identifying borrowers and discussing issues that require addressing for smooth and speedy implementation, the Finance Ministry said in a statement. The Finance Minister will review the implementation of the resolution framework for COVID-19 related stress in bank loans on Thursday with the top management of scheduled commercial banks and NBFCs. It said the Reserve Bank of India earlier this month permitted one-time restructuring of both corporate and retail loans. Banks are in the process of getting board-approved restructuring framework in line with RBI's framework and eligibility defined by the central bank in its notification on August 6. Restructuring benefit can be availed by those whose account was standard on March 1 and defaults should not be over 30 days. Besides, the KV Kamath committee is working on recommendations on financial parameters like debt service coverage ratio, debt equity ratio post resolution and interest coverage ratio for recasting corporate loans. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.